Step black boy.
All right, welcome to the podcast. All right, so great start, podcast number 3. If any of you guys are fans of Hawthorne Heights, hit the like button, light up the comments down below. How do we even come up with why were we talking about that?
You just started it. You were just
I was singing it, yeah, because I burped and then I was like, yeah. Okay, cool.
And I think it went just like that too.
Yeah.
So now we're all working on our screaming.
I'm going to have to use my screamo voice throughout this podcast. We'll call
the
the
there's
episode.
like a bunch of trash in the way, and people are going to just hate.
We should go around the table and everyone should do it.
What?
Your best scream.
Dude, I saw one recently.
I'm going to mute it out for
Yeah, that's what you sound like every morning. Never get here. The new lead singer of Metallica. All right, welcome to the Blockhead Podcast, guys. This is our 3rd podcast, broadcasting from the Blockhead Garage. We are a motorcycle studio and custom speed shop. For those of you not in the know, if you guys need an oil change, we got you. If you need a frame up, fully built, custom tuned one-off motorcycle, we do that too. Hit us up, blockheadgarage.com, and we'll get you guys on the schedule. So it's actually kind of funny. We started out the podcast and we were sitting in different seats, but we're not trying to confuse you guys. So we all played musical chairs and switched back to our default positions. So on my left, we've got Spec Ops Manager Captain Anna at Captain Anna. Sitting in front of me at my 12 o'clock, we've got Justin James, a man of many talents, many hats. I usually say editor extraordinaire with a bow. Like that chick that batted you the other day.
right.
Yeah, you guys can find him at Iron J Moto. And on my right, we've got 25-year master level technician Chris at Sick White Glide. Yeah. When's 26 years? Are we coming up on 26?
Yeah, we'll get there at some point.
Are we just not are we just thinking with 25
forever 25.
plus?
I think I've been saying 25 for a while.
Yeah.
And then once you get to 30, we'll get 30 plus.
It's soon. It'll be August.
Nice.
That's coming
Dude,
up.
that'll be the channel anniversary too, 6 year.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
My kid is coming.
Dad duty calls.
Yeah, you said
So Chris
duty.
has a
Kind of want to do this on the podcast.
Chris has a
What do
sick
you
child.
want?
Go ahead, pick it up. Yeah, let's hear it. This is real life, bro.
What's going on, kiddo?
Hey, is it okay if I make slime?
Seriously?
Is it okay if what?
She makes slime.
Slime?
Wait till I get home.
Hey, how do you make slime?
You add glue, you add add-ins, or you don't have to add them. There's only 2 main ingredients: glue and activator. But you can add extra add-ins. And I have a little bit I can put in there.
She's saying atoms?
Add-ins.
Add-ins. Oh, okay.
Like bejeweling.
Okay.
And
No, what do you add food coloring to make it a colored slime?
Yeah, you can add food coloring, you can add glitter, you can add styrofoam bombs, you can add fish food.
What's your favorite-
There's so many different things you can add.
What's your favorite color slime?
Probably a really light blue.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I like light blue. Cool.
I had to think about that.
Yeah. It's a tough decision.
It's an important question.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
All right, kiddo. You can make that when I get home. All right.
Okay.
All right. We're recording a podcast right now, so you are now a part of this podcast.
Yay!
So I like how she's like, oh yeah,
nice.
sweet. Nice. So if you want to say hi to people, say hi. Otherwise, I'm going to let you go for the moment, but I'll see you in a little bit.
Hello.
Yes.
She's my spirit animal now. I need that energy.
All right, kiddo. I'll see you in a little bit. All right.
Okay.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you too. Bye.
But wait.
Bro, that was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, the world for her never stops. You know what? 2 hours ago, she was laying on her deathbed.
Now she wants to make
Now
slime.
she's like, "Hey, can I make slime?"
Yeah,
Like,
you're at
it's
home, you're
amazing
like-
what a couple ibuprofen will do for a child. You know what I mean?
I just took 2, so we'll see how it works. All right, so the last podcast we recorded, we went way over what like our estimated timeline would be. We were thinking we were going to be able to take, or basically like talk through a couple like introductory things and take some, questions from the Discord and all that, and then get into like our main topics. But we took 2 hours and we didn't even touch our main topics.
Yeah.
So in this podcast, we're going to jump kind of into the main topics. Did we still want to do like a couple of Discord questions?
Yeah, but we have to make
Not
it
really.
quick.
Not really.
We have
Gotta
to make it
quick.
quickish because
It's going to
think we
take
should.
forever. I mean,
We'll just make it quick.
maybe like one, because we've got about 15, 20 minutes. We've got a guest on today's podcast from S&S.
Ooh,
so they
guest.
manufacture motors and all
And
sorts
who
of
is said guest?
Performance
David.
parts.
Yeah, lots of great performance parts.
Welcome to the show, David. Thank you. Block your wrist or whatever. Block your wrist. That one. Yeah.
Cut my eyes.
That sounds painful.
David, in order to be on the podcast.
So we're going to start with one question from our Discord community.
But before we get into that, for those of you that don't know how to get into our Discord community, you have to sign up at our website, www.blockheadmoto.com. You basically sign up, select a tier. It's a monthly tier level that gets you in to win a motorcycle that we're giving away.
In to win?
In to win.
Into winning.
We are currently giving we're currently giving away there's like a month left to enter for the Sucker Punch Sally custom chopper, which is absolutely beautiful. And after that, we're giving away a brand new Harley-Davidson Lowrider ST, which is the shit hot bike right now.
It's the what?
Shit hot bike, bro.
Shit hot.
Shit hot. Shit hot. Like,
Normally if you're shitting hot, you might want to
just went
consult someone.
Yeah, but you went to Chipotle probably too.
Yeah,
So-
But
definitely.
luckily we have
This
bidets.
is why our topics take so long.
And we're back to bidets.
Right? That's why we have them.
Veto.
So yeah, we're giving away a brand new Lowrider ST, which is a really popular bike right now. We're going to customize it a bit, and we've got a couple episodes being sponsored from Harley-Davidson. So we're going to do the install of the Rockford Fosgate audio. We're going to actually disassemble it a bit, let you guys take a pretty good look at the fairing. We've got a bunch of episodes coming up on it. So if you guys want to check those out, be sure to be subscribed to the channel, youtube.com/blockheadmoto.
Otherwise, guess what? You just missed out.
Missed out. And also, by supporting, by joining our Discord and signing up, you're also supporting this awesome content creation and enabling all of us to be here doing what we love, bringing you the content that you love.
Yeah, y'all's
So,
contributions
thank you.
go directly into growing this business and helping to keep it going.
Our sponsors and viewers like you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So shout out to y'all.
So today's question comes from Squanch.
Squanch.
Oh, we know
Squanch?
Squanch.
Squanch Moto.
Squanchy boy.
Squanch.
And
What is
he
Squanch?
asked-
We know that guy.
That can either be good
All
or bad.
negative connotations. Yeah, we know
I think it was
that.
our first
Oh,
customer. wasn't it?
okay.
Yeah, it was our first customer.
Oh, that's cool. That's really nice.
Yeah.
So he asked a recent TV show or series you recently watched that had you hooked from the start.
Easy as fuck.
Yeah.
Stranger Things, bro.
Yeah, agree.
Stranger Things.
Things. I'm on that too.
Chris?
What was the question? Show or movie?
Show or movie? Yeah.
Or movie?
Oh, no. TV show or series.
So it's not recent, but because I haven't gotten into anything recent, but the most recent would have been the first series of Ozark, first season.
Nice.
Ooh, that's
I
okay.
still watch it, but that would have been
Sorry.
hey, whoa.
My phone's connected to
Interruption.
Bluetooth. I don't know you, Seattle, Washington.
So is it Likely Family?
No.
No, damn. They call me all the time.
Not this time.
So Ozark season 1, that's
Yeah.
a great show, man.
Well, Ozark is a great show, but that would be the last time I actually sat down and watched something and then binge watched the shit out of it.
Bro, you need to go through the rest of it. Like,
No, I'm
so
current. I'm just saying that was.
Oh, you've watched it all? You're
Oh,
finished? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how
just-
they like had integrity with that show and ended it like with their original like planned out storyline.
Yeah.
Same as like Breaking Bad did.
and
they
the
don't-
same characters.
Yeah.
Same.
A lot of shows
feel.
like they'll kind of go this direction and they're like, oh, we're really popular, so we're going to write more now and like kind of fluff it
Yeah.
up a bit to try to like keep it going.
And
But
then
I
they
think
ruin it.
exactly like the shows that have that integrity, it's awesome.
Real quick, because this will get long winded. as we know.
It's about to.
Did
Yep, I can see it.
any of you ever watch The Shield when it first came out?
No.
Nope.
Have you seen it at all?
Nope.
See, so I can't even you have to watch that. It applies to today too, but it was a real gritty. It was like a cop show. It had Michael Chiklis, who when I was young, if you guys knew the show, The Commish, he was the commish, right? He was like a lovable character. And in this, he's the exact opposite. He's like one of those bad cop, good cop kind of characters, but he's neither. He just kind of does his own fucking thing and breaks a lot of rules, but some of it's honorable reasons, some of it's selfish reasons. You know what I mean? So he's constantly in this place of not really sure what direction he wants to go. And he gets a special little narcotics unit, you know, and their characters you'll definitely recognize. Can't think of his name, but if you watch the show, all of their crew, you'll know from other shows. But anyways, this was kind of the start for them. And so as a badass show, it started with a feel and it ended with a very similar feel. And a lot of shows don't do that.
No.
You know, after season 2, 3, you really get away from the beginning of what this whole show pulled you in for, and now you're lost in drama, and you stop and you think about it. You're like, shit, we went down a rabbit hole, and I don't even know how we got here. But the shows that stay true to from the beginning to the end, I dig that.
Agree.
Yeah, I hear that. The last thing that I binged was Bridgerton season 2. So
I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it either.
great show. Should watch it.
What about real quick and just like one word answer kind of things? Favorite sitcom?
Sitcom specifically?
Yeah, like show, TV show.
Oh, just okay. The Office.
Yeah, for sure for you. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a sitcom, but I love Entourage. But it was a TV series or on
Chris,
HBO.
What about you?
Modern or all
Doesn't matter.
time?
Or just all time favorite
Man, that's tough.
that you could just watch again and again.
Yeah, that's really tough, honestly. For me, it probably starts with The Simpsons or Roseanne.
Ooh, Simpsons.
Good. Cool.
Yeah.
That 70s show for me.
That's a good one
that
too.
show.
Yeah, that
Freaking
was
love that
decent.
shit.
That was good.
Dude, it sucks because there's nowhere to stream it right now. It's
Because
like
it-
nobody picked it up.
Because it
It's
came
weird.
off of
Well,
Netflix.
hey,
so.
no knocking Roseanne here, but she got canceled on all platforms too, so you can't really watch that shit anymore. But it was good for its time. Pushed a lot of envelopes, you know.
Back in the day. Yeah.
We could even say Golden Girls, dude. Like that was super
love that show.
progressive.
That show was so progressive.
It
for its
was,
time.
but it was hilarious
Love that
too.
show, yeah.
It was like progressive without being offensive.
Yeah.
Like it was. I don't know. It was tasteful.
Well,
Tastefully
it was
done.
a show about 4 older ladies and their lives. Like,
Yeah, but they wanted to break
You know?
the rules.
Yeah.
The normal retired woman rule,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
I love
they were all
Golden Girls.
widows, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Amazon's trying to deliver a package right now and it's pouring rain, so I'll be right back.
okay, goodbye.
I,
So it's going to be like that.
As far as sitcoms go, like definitely Golden Girls. But I also I used to really love Friends. I watched that show so many times.
Friends.
right.
Yeah. So no one told you life was gonna be this way.
You know,
That's all we wanted was the clap.
there's a whole lot of shows, though. Like, there are a lot that had an impact. So it's really hard to just pick one. Because as you grow and as you change and your life experiences change, your tastes change, right? So
Right.
your sitcoms change. And it's really hard to just pick one. It's almost like you got to pick one from an era.
Right.
At least when you get to my age. It's
I'm
like,
about
like a
to
time
binge
for your
watch
life.
the Stranger Things, dude. The volume 2 came out last night.
you know, I have not watched one episode of it.
So
I watched
good.
the
So
first
good.
season of Stranger Things, and I thought it was good, but it's just not really
It's not your thing.
it's not my thing. It was good, but just
You know, I used to watch, oh my God, it's escaping me all of a sudden. The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So I used to watch Walking Dead.
P.S. I'm back and I'm soaked.
So real quick to touch on that, it was like I don't know what season it was, but it was the one where,
I was like, "What are you doing?" Oh, the
I'm
camera.
holding my
Showing
red
his
arm.
wetness.
dude, this is how horrible I am at my memory sometimes. What was the cop's name?
Rick
So it was the one where Rick
Grimes.
was in the
Ricky.
circle, and that dude had come and got his kid. Like there was a circle where they were killing people, and I think they offed somebody in that group.
All right, we're going over time.
Yeah. Long story short, he was supposed to cut his kid's arm off or
Long
something.
story long.
And I just
Right.
thought this whole scene is beyond me. I'm a parent. I don't even want to feel this kind of emotion.
Oh, yeah.
And so from that point forward, I never watched another episode. It just got pointless.
I've never watched The Walking Dead.
I think we watched like up to where Rick got like taken away in a helicopter. I can't remember. I think they saw that part where like they cut his arm off or whatever. Yeah, but
see, and this is why we're only doing one question this time.
That show went way too long. Yeah,
it did. It got played out.
Yeah. All right. So one of the, like I said, the guests that we have today is David from S&S. If you guys are not familiar with S&S Performance, I don't know, how would you say what they do? They make just performance motorcycle parts for pretty much.
They make OEM replacement parts. They make performance parts. They make a lot of things, actually. More than just that.
You can buy a complete S&S engine. So they're an engine manufacturer.
Correct.
Yeah, they have quality stuff. We use their stuff in just about everything.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I have their stuff on my personal bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
same.
Oh my God,
I've got the Guardian kit and the stage.
I know.
The cam plate, oil pump, cam, push rods.
Yeah.
Like you're like, that's your preference for push rod, adjustable push rod.
I like theirs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they make a lot of really, really awesome quality parts. So, our guest today is from S&S. So, very knowledgeable person in the industry. It's one of the things that I want to start doing with this podcast is reaching out to those people that wouldn't normally be just easily accessible in the industry to basically share and be able to provide knowledge, because that is a big thread throughout the whole Blockhead brand, is to spread knowledge and educate. So,
well, speaking of that, who is David?
So David is their marketing guy at S&S, incredibly knowledgeable.
Okay.
So we're going to call him in just a second. What the heck? Am I got the Amazon driver like texting me again? Did you know that they could do this? They can like text you.
Really?
What is he texting you?
Hey man, cool job.
He's like, yo, dude, that was sick, man. Oh, he's back? He's coming back?
The big cat.
I like how it got all quiet and weird, and we're just like, waiting. Oh no,
Right?
Dad left. Let's do what we want. Is that how it goes? Change it up. Change it up. Ooh, ooh. Where you at, Ann?
What is happening?
Well, Dad's
Okay.
back.
I know, right? All right.
Dad's back. Quiet.
Oh,
Aw.
I missed out. What was going on? I like fun too.
We were getting a little vibe going, and
It
then
was jamming.
came in.
All right. Like here's me like trying to keep us on schedule.
Right?
I'm not the person that time runs away from apparently.
That's funny.
So one of the topic that we're going to basically loop David from S&S in on is a topic that we've kind of talked about previously between people that are getting builds done. And so that is basically building out your bike for rideability versus chasing numbers. And so this is something that's kind of happening in the industry right now, where everybody's kind of, like very heavily right now, especially everybody's kind of trying to outdo each other in terms of like getting the biggest numbers. And one of the things that like, I think a lot of people don't understand until they end up getting those numbers and building out something is that like, it's not always usable, streetable power. You know, you're starting to get, I speak from experience from Goldzilla, which is 151 horsepower, 150 torque. And like that bike, all top end, is kind of a bitch to ride. It's not leisure, it's a beast. I mean, there's a reason it got named Goldzilla. And so Bertini recently, Michael Bertini, if you guys don't know.
Throwing him under the bus.
Right.
Well, I was going to call him, but he's actually.
Names.
I'm promoting him. He has a YouTube channel.
As we're killing him.
This fucking guy.
No. So we were actually going to call and talk to him last week, but the timing didn't work out. But he recently built a turboed 131. So it's a stage 4 131 Milwaukee 8 on a street glide. And then he did a stage 2 Trask turbo on it, which is nasty. Like it sounds amazing, but it's like I think with the auto tune, it was like 178 horsepower or something like pretty much like the same torque.
No, that's auto tune on.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Auto tune on. Yeah, so that's just the auto tune. Like with a tune,
corrections.
With a tune, we're probably going to look at like 200 plus horsepower.
Oh, definitely. With just an auto tuned,
that's more than my car.
Just like blow it up.
Will probably be about 200. I think that's what Trask is thinking, and that's kind of what we're hoping. But yeah, supposedly with a built map, who knows? Possibilities are endless because we can up the boost too.
Yeah.
So there's a few things that we can monkey with.
So one of the things that we were talking to him about is like, he's saying he's happy with like 178, which it's nothing to like stick your nose up at. Like it's stupid power. And then he's got carbon fiber everything on there. So he's lighting it a bunch. So his bike's probably it's like 70 or 700 to 800-ish pounds.
I think he put the number out. It's somewhere in the mid sevens, I think.
Yeah. So see, I mean, he's dropped a ton of weight on it. So, you're talking about a bike that weighs that, and then you're talking like 200 plus horsepower. It's and no rider assistance. Like there's ABS, that's it, right? On that bike. There's no no TCS, traction control.
It's all been turned off.
Yeah. So no rider assistance. I mean, you basically pull back on throttle.
You know what?
And that's your assistance.
It does have traction control, but we turned it off. So. Okay. As of now, no.
Yeah, because it would just like cause the bike to.
So no.
I mean, technically, legally, it does have it,
but we don't have it on.
We don't have it. It's not.
I assume it would just cause the bike to fall on its face because that rear tire breaks free, like no problem now. So we need stickier tires.
Well, the reason we take traction control off is because there is such a large ramp up in the amount of power that traction control doesn't quite figure that out fast enough. So you end up with a completely dead spot. If you just yank it, it goes. Yeah. And that's kind of dangerous if you're in an intersection or you're in a place where timing is of key. You don't want that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're kind of curious to get somebody in the industry's perspective on it.
Can we do a visual? Is this the venue for a visual?
The venue for a visual?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're
cool?
watching on YouTube.
Because like I want to say that this is like the 131. This is like a 114. And then, of course, you have other shapes and sizes. We don't care. But this is for the men, right? So it's not always the biggest. It's not always the tallest. It's not always how fat or how skinny. It doesn't matter. It's where the fuck you use it and how you use it. I mean, that's the truth. Like the number is the number. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But it's where it's delivered, when it's delivered, and how hard does it hit when it hits. So
what are we talking about again?
The number.
Numbers.
He's saying it's a beep measuring contest.
Right. It is. The horsepower and the torque number is nothing more than a dick extension. And it really costs a lot to look cool. But let's be honest, 200 horsepower is not practical on a street.
No.
It's just not. I would love to tell everybody that it is and sell you all this shit and make a lot of money. But it's just not practical.
I mean, we will.
Right. Of course we'll do it.
If you guys want 200 horsepower, we'll do it.
I mean,
no problem.
There is no issue there. But understand that I am in the business of not, and we just actually had this situation with a customer we have here where we talked about something before we made the decision to continue. Mm-hmm. Because there comes a point where if you're blinded by an idea and you have money and you're like, just make it happen, that's cool. And I'll take your money and I'll make it happen. But when you're done and you go to ride it, you might not be happy. Yeah. And then you're stuck in this place of like, you can play the blame game and you can blame us. And I don't want that ever.
Yeah.
So I'll give you the informed decision or the information up front, and then you make your most calculated decision. So again, you want 200 horse? Fuck yeah, we'll do it every day of the week. But don't think I'm not going to talk to you first.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to the track like all the time or racing in Mexico, cool. But like if you're a commuter and you're going back and forth to work or you're riding across the country, it's probably not the best.
Right.
It can do it. It's one of those things that I always say. It's like, yeah, you can ride a Sportster across the country, but is it the best tool for the job? Definitely not.
No.
You know, it's like there's a better tool built for it out there. And so if you're looking for performance, if you're looking for rideability, that's one type of build. If you're looking for like a monster horsepower torque bike, you know, for a track, that's another type of bike. That's another type of build.
Yep.
So I think people are trying to make these monster bikes and then just I don't know, ride them back and forth to work.
Well, they're far surpassing what the frame was built to handle, what the suspension was meant to handle. And yes, some of them are, exactly.
Tire ratings, yeah.
And some guys, the big thing if you're following social media is suspension and performance, right? And those are two big overlooked things. But at the same time, there's a frame that just flat out wasn't designed to handle this much power. Harley didn't sit around going, well, let's design this to hold 228 foot-pounds of torque and 250 horsepower. That's not in their calculations. So, again, you can outbuild what you have, and you can really honestly create a bomb.
How much does that affect the fuel economy of a bike?
So
just out of curiosity.
Real quick, that's a great question.
Kills it.
No, believe it or not, if you ride it as you did before, you will increase your fuel mileage every day of the week because it takes less throttle and less throttle position to maintain the same speed. You have more power, so your throttle position should actually change and become less. The problem is, let's be honest, we're power junkies. So we go, rah, rah, and every time you rah, well, that eats fucking 8 miles per gallon. So I'm going from light to light to light. And now I only get 18 miles a gallon.
But I'm paying all this money for gas now because it's so expensive. So I want people to be able to hear it.
Exactly.
It's like, I just spent $5 a gallon. You best bet I'm going to be rap, 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 rap.
It's just my bike singing emo music.
But that is a tricky question. In the normal world, it will increase your fuel mileage.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and give David a call. See what he thinks.
Watch him not answer. Let's all wait on pins and needles.
Dun, dun, dun.
Can you play like the Jeopardy music while it's ringing?
No, but we got to load this thing up. I said that last podcast.
Yeah, soundboard.
Ready? Let's do it ourselves.
I know, right?
Go ahead.
We got eight presets.
You guys all hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
And it is recording.
This is David.
What's up, David? How you doing, man?
Hey, man. I'm good.
This is Block with Blockhead Garage. Just throwing that formality in there for the podcast since
I wasn't sure who Block would be with, so I appreciate you clarifying that.
No problem, man. No problem. So we are recording right now, just as a heads up. And yeah, man, thank you for being willing to be on our podcast. Greatly appreciate it.
No worries. We're excited to do it.
You said you were and we talked previously, you said you were a big fan of like the podcast format for S&S as well.
Yeah, we do. We started this thing a year and change ago, maybe more. We were kind of feeling like we were losing touch with our customer. We weren't doing a lot of events or anything, so we started doing it. When we started doing events again, we slowed down and everyone yelled at us. So we're still doing them.
They yelled at you guys for stopping podcasts?
Yeah.
That's
in fact, we've been, the events kill us. I mean, they're like, your travel time, it's hard to do.
Right.
So we were at Born Free last weekend, and there's actually guys going, hey, what the hell?
Nice. That's cool. It's a cool format,
man. It was very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like
it's very fun. Yeah, it's very fun. It's real loose.
Yeah, exactly. This is our third one, and it's just we're still kind of getting acclimated to it. But one of the things that we're kind of realizing going into it is, like you said, it's fun sitting around, shooting the shit, and just kind of, I don't know, casually talking about whatever.
It's
I
free
think.
bird.
All right.
Yeah, last time around we ended up somehow going around to bidets. But
almost went there again today.
It's not here nor there, right?
Close call today.
So on the call with me, which you'll hear, we've got Anna.
Hello.
Justin.
Hey,
hello.
Hey.
And Chris.
What's happening, David?
All right.
So where can people find y'all's podcast if they want to tune into y'all's stuff as well?
Actually, there's a link in the bottom of our website. And every time we do one, we publish it on all of our channels.
Sweet. Okay. Man, I'm definitely going to add it.
It's hard not to find it if you're following us.
Right on. So would you want to kind of explain to our viewers who you are and about a little bit about S&S?
Yeah. My name is David Zemla. I run the marketing team at S&S. been in the industry going on 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Which is pretty nutty to think about.
Wow.
I'm at S&S for 7. Before that, I was at Performance Machine and Progressive Suspension and a little brand called Burley Brand.
Yeah.
Little brand.
They probably were back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, all really fun opportunities. Originally out of SoCal, when the S&S opportunity came up, moved my whole family to rural Wisconsin, which has been quite the adventure.
I bet.
So, and if you're not familiar with S&S, we are a performance parts manufacturer. Company was born in 58.
Oh, wow.
Specialize in V-twin, although we do a whole bunch of new stuff lately that is not V-twin. And, our jam is kind of building performance.
Awesome.
Whether that be big bore or cam or exhaust or, we are still manufacture a disturbing amount of carburetors.
Nice.
You guys are still actually you sell the whole engine kit for knuckleheads and panheads and all that old school stuff.
We sell complete replica engines. Yeah. Yeah. We do a twin cam. It's a 143. So it's 160 horsepower bolt-in motor.
Yeah. We need one of those.
100 what? 160?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. You gotta call up Baker first.
Yeah. Transmission.
You need a tire sponsor, right? You need a tire sponsor, and you need Burt Baker's cell phone number.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, we're linked up with Baker. We've had to replace one of those already.
Then you're ready for 160 horsepower.
Yeah. If you have any recommendations for tire sponsors, we're all ears.
Good luck on that.
Yeah. That's actually one that we need to get down. Yeah. Yeah, Avon.
You and me both.
Dear Avon, what's up?
Yeah, actually, tires are really difficult to get hold of, even if you are paying right now. So
yeah, supply chain goodness, hooray!
Oh yeah.
So one of the topic that we're actually wanting to kind of get your insight into, it's funny that you mentioned the drop-in engine that was, what did you say, 160 horsepower?
Torque.
Yeah,
160 torque.
143.
So one of the things that we've been seeing in the industry is people building motorcycles, not so much for rideability, but instead they're starting to chase numbers, and it's losing everyday rideability. It's like people want to take their dailies, and they say they have a number in mind instead of just overall rideability in mind. We've been seeing this kind of a lot lately.
We battle this every day.
Okay.
And
Same.
we'll take your money if you decide.
Same carbon cut. We're saying the same stuff.
Right. If you decide you need a giant bore with a massive cam that makes no power under $4,000,
we got you.
We'll make it for you.
Terrible.
But we would not do that for ourselves.
Yeah.
So we have this conversation constantly. We'll have guys because we do Sturgis and Daytona, we do everything. So we have a ton of in-person conversations. Not to mention the thousands of emails and calls every single month.
Right.
So it'll start with a conversation with, hey, I'm building a bagger and I want to run your whatever giant can. And you just go, okay. You realize it's a 900-pound motorcycle before you put people on it. So in reality, it wants torque, not horsepower. And you really, and I'm sure there are guys that are doing it, but it's a bagger. You're not running it wide open all the time.
Yeah. Only if you're dragging it.
Right. Right. But that's the exception way more than it's the rule. So you build a motorcycle that is essentially slower. It looks good on a dyno, but it will actually be slower in the RPMs that you use it in.
Yeah.
And we see that with guys doing these big old hogged out ported beds. So you need that flow at WFO. That flow actually creates less horsepower at normal RPMs.
Yeah.
So you're completely unrideable motorcycles unless you are wound up.
Yeah.
So we have this conversation every day, 25 times a day. We'll sell you the heads and we'll sell you the big old cam, but we always have the conversation first, what's your use case?
Yeah.
What are you doing with it? And you get the guys back and they're all, hey, I'm running 2 up and I'm running on the highway. We're just touring. And, I think I need, a 550 or a 590 cam in my M8.
Not a 590.
Wow.
That's all I've got.
No, you really don't. No, you really, really, really don't. So, and if you understand where you ride in the horsepower range, it really defines what you want to do with your bike and what's going to work best for you.
Exactly. So that's one of the questions that we actually ask our customers whenever they basically say that they want performance is like, okay, well, what do you want out of the build? What direction are you going in? Chris, you were going to say something?
I wanted to just chime in and say to you, case in point, Dylan, and numerous others. How many people come in with a particular number? We didn't quite get there,
right?
Because what they want and what their money or wallet dictates, doesn't always get them there.
I think he was looking for 150.
He wanted 150, 160, and I actually got him 148 and 144. And he came back thinking it was 160, 160.
Yeah.
But it's where the power's delivered. And again, as I said earlier, how it's delivered. It's not even always where, it's how hard does it hit at 2,000. Mm-hmm. If I can give you 140 at 2,000, I promise you don't care what the number says because the bike wants to run out of your arms.
Yeah.
So
you're back to having to call up Bert Baker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, that's that seat of the pants dyno a lot of times far surpasses the real dyno. Even though the dyno, of course, that's the, the measurement side of it. The real world go to go, stoplight to stoplight, and how I feel. That comes from.
Yeah, well, I mean, the dyno will tell you things that, it's not everyone wants to hear them, though, right? We look for big old flat torque curves. And I'll be honest with you, unless you're a racer, the actual horsepower number is a number.
Exactly.
If you have a big old flat torque curve, like the bike is so fun to ride.
Yeah.
Like shifting, maybe, I don't care. You need to downshift without somebody? I don't know. If the power's everywhere, it's just so fun to ride. If you are having to bang up and down gears constantly just to keep it in an RPM range, you might as well buy a 2-stroke.
Yeah, that's me with the 590. I got to downshift a couple gears in order to.
He knows that's that 590 cam.
Yeah, but once you're in it, man, you're in the meat. It's screaming.
It's a freaking race cam.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a race cam, and we're honest about it. Like this thing makes its power in the last maybe $2,000 of the RPM range.
I know.
4,000 and up. It's live.
I tell people I ride with that thing, I feel like an asshole.
You have to be in order to leverage the power, but that's why we make 4, 5, 6 different cams.
Yeah.
Because each guy's got a thing. Hey, I need to hear. I need to hear. But this conversation is endless, and we actually build a torque cam, like a 465, and it makes a big old fat torque curve, and it does not make a big horsepower number. It is more fun to ride.
Yeah, I've ridden a 465.
The bike feels faster. Yeah, the bike actually, especially on a bagger, the bike feels faster. Especially if you're running 2-up or you're running ultra or something like that. That is actually a better cam for the job. But it doesn't make a cool horsepower number, so it's probably underutilized.
That 475 though is a really good mix. It still hits. Yeah, it hits great torque.
That's our absolute favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, and the torque is really live at right about 2250.
It starts picking up. Yep.
Yeah, and from there on, it's on, and it can carry horsepower with the right pipe. So,
Yeah, absolutely. That is, besides being our best seller for the M8, it is absolutely my favorite.
Same.
And it works really. It works good in a bagger. It works good in a softail.
Absolutely.
It's a healthy torque curve. It still makes 107. It'll still make over 100 horsepower.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that cam.
Me too.
We use that cam probably 85% of what we do.
Yeah.
is that cam.
Oh, no kidding. That's very cool.
We push y'all's stuff like really hard. I mean, because all of us, like, we personally use it.
Thank you.
It's reliable. It's user friendly, at least for me. It's tuner friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it works well with most exhaust systems. Even if somebody wants, that 2-in-2 short shot with a crappy horsepower curve, it's still
easy. You can offend a lot of people, bro.
I don't care. I'm just saying, if you pick
we have that conversation a lot too.
Yeah, if you pick the less than stellar exhaust, it still seems to perform pretty well.
And I was just going to ask, what are we going to do to my Sporty? The only one without S&S stuff on it.
Hey, we got plenty of good Sporty.
What year is your Sporty? What year is your Sporty?
2012.
Ooh, we have a pipe for you.
Oh.
We have actually makes horsepower pipe for you.
2-in-1.
There you go. You throw it on the dyno, do a run before, put the pipe on it, see what it looks like after.
Yeah. And
So
I know you've got some nice some mild cams for her.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
snap.
Well, so some people like are drinkers or alcoholic. I got like a thing for Sportsters.
Nice, dude. Same.
And they don't like have an AA. Yeah, they don't have like an AA program. You just have to deal with it. So yeah, the project I just finished early in the year is probably 110, 120 horsepower, 100-inch Sportster. So it's a 16 something odd cc Sportster.
Yeah.
It is very fun. Very, very fun. Yeah, all Olin suspension, nickel frame, all electronics. It actually, you turn it on with an app.
Dang.
So
That's cool.
Yeah, it's the dumbest Sportster I've ever built. And that's a hell of a list of really dumb Sportsters.
Does it talk to you like Tony Stark's assistant?
Kind of.
It's like, welcome.
Yeah,
sir.
I did a bobber a couple years ago that was almost unrideable. So probably just under 100 horsepower. But, it was a bobber, so high bars, little seat.
Yeah, no seat. You just slide right off.
So you got to wear the sandpaper pants.
Cool guy, dumb cool guy rubber. So you shift hard, it would step out.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I got a Sportster fetish.
That reminds me of the early
We definitely have a pipe for you.
That's exciting.
I'll have to follow up. Let's talk.
Your bobber.
Taken care of.
Your bobber reminds me of the Millennium era, like choppers and hardtails. Everybody was stuffing S&S like the 124s and 113s, and we wanted to make them all scrappy, but there's absolutely no seat, no fender.
Yeah.
So the minute you rip on it, you're like, whoop, shit.
Bye.
Yep.
That's hot. That is hot.
Pretty much there. Yeah, like it would come up next to you, and sometimes it would steer, sometimes it would not. It looked very cool, and it was very fun to ride, but giant amounts of horsepower and silly bikes like that is probably really dangerous.
Yeah, you got to have a good seat that holds you in. There was the Sportster that we built and gave away with the hooligan kit. Whenever I was out ripping it, I pulled back on throttle and it threw me back because I had a little burly seat on it, right? And so it threw me back onto the fender. And when it throws you back, you want to pull yourself forward, so you're pulling throttle even more. And so it's just this like you're in this in between of like, oh shit. You gotta use your toes. You gotta curl them toes.
I've had them with tall bars where the bars moved.
Oh yeah.
Those are dumb bikes. They're so fun.
I was gonna say, I mean, you're the red and black Sportster.
So fuck you, Sportster is pretty nasty.
That Sportster is.
But shame on you for the hammer kit. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean,
considering I had to say it.
So we wanted, we were going after numbers.
Tell them the story about hammer and chasing numbers and what they presented.
Well, so yeah, they offer like 120 horsepower kit. Like that's how they advertise it on their website.
But the dyno sheet showed 130.
Yeah, 130 something.
Yeah.
Dyno sheet. And so like we basically were like, okay, cool. Like called them up, ordered their stuff, and we're like, all right, we're gonna get 120 horsepower out of this.
He knows what we do for a living, right? And so do our viewers. So we wanted to prove this right or wrong, but. They
just wanted a Sportster that was going to smoke big V twins to make them shut the fuck up.
Yeah, basically. That's all I wanted.
Which is a good time, by the way.
That's why it's called the Fuck You Sportster.
Go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off, but he jumped right in. Go for it.
No. Well, keep going.
So we got this kit. We put the kit together as sold. Because you and I both know, David, we can make numbers. But can we make numbers with what you actually sell, or is there more stuff we have to put on a la carte? So we wanted to do this per kit, per advertisement. So we bought it as was. And what did we end up with again? 110, 111 was our best.
I think we had like 110 initially. And then we looked over the order and we were like, oh, like for some reason you guys skipped over the
throttle body,
ported and polished throttle body, the bored out throttle body.
Yeah.
And so we ordered that, which was like another $1,000.
Well, because you called Hammer.
Yeah.
So he called Hammer and was like, hey, so you sold me this kit and we're only making this much. And maybe they pointed it out to you, but either way.
No, I went across the order sheet and I was like, maybe that's why we're not making the power. So it needs more air. We need to open it up more. And so we put the order in. They sent it off to like Horsepower Inc. We got it back, put it on.
And what did we gain?
Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, one. We gained 1 horsepower for $1,000.
Even after tuning.
Yeah.
Because it just, it just wasn't.
Dude, I was super pissed off in that video.
That video required a lot of editing.
It did require a lot of editing. I was so mad.
Yeah, so then Blockhead called and spoke with, I don't know who you spoke with, but he called and basically to call them on their shit and say, hey, look, I did what you guys said, yada, yada, yada. Long story short, they then inform him, oh, well, we had a lightened and balanced. We used a Buell flywheel. We used
Buell rods.
They used lightened
spoke wheels.
Spoke wheels. Everything was not.
And they said to inflate it.
Yeah. Oh, and then they also told him you had to overinflate the tire to cheat the horsepower numbers.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I know cheat sheet.
Like this is what he's telling me, and I'm just shaking my head like I'm that emoji with the hand over the face, shaking my damn head kind of thing. And I'm like, dude, there's no way. Like, you know, we do this for the world to see what you actually get for what you buy. And then obviously we can make what they got, but then we're going to show you now what we have to do to actually get what they got.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
got to keep our journalistic integrity.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that you guys do that. Any of those crazy numbers are possible, but you know, they come with substantial cost and a really mean hit in reliability.
Yeah. That bike is no longer like a daily.
When you push a Sportster that far, it just lives at the edge of exploding.
Yeah, it really does.
That's what it feels like riding the fucking Sportster.
And I don't know. I'll say this now, and I'm sure somebody from Hammer eventually is going to hear this podcast, maybe. But regardless. The cam that they've cut for that thing puts the map pressure so far off the map that you can't barely get it to idle. It's insane. Yeah. And that map pressure is bouncing.
Which, I mean, that's race stuff.
What's
that's
that?
Race stuff. It's not really street stuff.
Of course. But you know, that's not practical to go sit at the light at 1700 RPM. You know, when you're or sitting in rush hour traffic at 1700 RPM.
It's like
all
it
day.
just constantly stays in like a warm up idle.
It kind of has to.
Yeah. No, and I don't want to, dog on them as a company. They do good stuff out there. So
we'll censor most of this. We'll be like beep performance.
He's like, oh shit, what did I get myself into?
Right? Yeah, they're definitely friendly competitors. They do good stuff. But it's something like that. That's race stuff. It's nothing wrong with that. But our jam is really it's streetable performance.
Yep.
We make plenty of race stuff too, but really the focus is on something that you can bolt on your bike and put thousands of miles on it.
Yeah.
We have that 143, that massive twin cam motor. We have guys with baggers just running around the country, thousands of miles on them. That motor is actually under stress. So you could torture it and it'll just take it.
So,
and that's what we do.
Anna, I want to have Anna ask you a question that she asked me because I want to hear your answer. No. You'll like it. But go ahead.
So what does that do to the fuel economy of the bike? Is that the one?
Yeah. Like in a perfect world.
Well, there is an inverse relationship between high performance and fuel economy. So the more power you make per cubic inch, per pound, whatever that measurement is for you, there is a negative impact on fuel economy.
Mm-hmm. So you're on the negative side.
That is made worse by the fact that now that you have that power, you tend to use it.
That's exactly what you were saying.
So, David, let me tag onto that. I'm 100% with you, except I will say, in some cases, if you ride your bike the way you did before you built it, you can actually increase your fuel mileage. Because as you just stated,
I don't know anyone who does that.
Right?
Neither do I.
Who does that?
Neither do I. But in
Why
theory,
did you modify it then?
Oh, I have the stage 4. Let me ride like a grandma around town still.
but as you,
I guess you could do that
just,
technically. If you build a well-tuned bike, even so, say you do a 128 kit on an M8, that is up until I tell you some secret stuff later on in this conversation. That is kind of the biggest slip-in kit you can get for a M8. You build that setup, you do it smart, use the factory throttle body, maybe a larger injector. You're going to see a little hit to fuel mileage, but nothing substantial.
Right. I'm with you. And that's kind of the school of thought I wanted to give her was, if you build your Sportster and you mildly build it or you build it well, but you don't treat it like shit, you'll actually see an improvement. But the problem is, as we all know, and this is what I told her, is when we have that power, we go rip, 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 and we're just constant full throttle because that's why we built it. So, of course, it has an adverse effect.
I will take that hit every day, by the way.
Exactly. I think we all will.
Yeah, you're not converting that to dollars and cents in your head. Yeah.
Yeah. Just for that feeling as you pull away from a light so hard that it hurts your arms.
Yep, exactly.
I want that. I want that all the time.
Yeah.
So,
I think it'd be interesting if how a lot of gauges or whatever vehicles, they'll have your fuel economy and they'll be like such and such, like your immediate fuel economy, right? Such and such miles per gallon as you're accelerating or, just in cruise control or whatever. I think it would be interesting if they had that, but it displayed the current gas price rate. And so it shows you you're burning this much. Yeah, you're burning this much per minute kind of thing or per mile.
Yeah, I don't know if you want that.
I think that would be terrible, but
it would be depressing.
Imagine that on your truck.
I think there would be a rise in bicycles and scooters.
Yeah, right.
And
You're
they're
I'm spending how much when I accelerate off this red light?
Right. It just humbles your riding.
All of a sudden, New Balance is selling the shit out of walking shoes.
Right, exactly. Right. Yeah, I drive a Jeep on 35s, and it has that instant mileage screen.
It's not great, is it?
And I turned it off.
Yeah. It's not a good screen.
Look at it.
Dude, I'm on a Raptor on 37s, and I'm looking at 11.9 miles per gallon. I'm driving so slow lately, trying to get to 12. I just need an average of 12 miles per gallon, man, and it just will not give it to me. It's been months.
That is no fun. That unwinds the very premise of this vehicle. So I don't like that screen.
Yeah.
So I don't want that, and I definitely don't want it in dollars.
Right. It just automatically updates per day.
Yeah. No, that'd be terrible.
So
anyway,
with performance in mind, what would your recommendation be, based on your experience in the industry with, the M8s, what would your, not dream build be, but your just recommended build be for somebody that's looking to maybe build an M8 for a little bit more performance on a budget?
That 475 cam.
Yeah. Yeah. So stage 2.
That 100%. Is that is kind of the least amount of spend for the most amount of power.
Absolutely.
I mean, you will genuinely feel the difference. Do a little bit of tune. I like a long 2-in-1 for the most power.
Mm-hmm.
So our Sidewinder pipe on the baggers, or the Super Street probably on the Softails. And especially in the bagger, it's a pretty long pipe, and the M8 wants volume. So a short pipe on that particular motor actually just murders bottom end.
That's your TBR.
Nope.
You can make more power with a fully legal catalyzed long pipe than you can with a short pipe, with an empty short pipe.
I remember you telling me that whenever you guys had sent over the 590 and the Guardian kit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That motor, it's interesting. It flows really, really well. But it definitely wants a little bit of back pressure in the pipe. It wants volume.
Have you noticed, or is it just me, David, but that baggers tend to outperform Softails, M8s, mainly due to the exhaust and the fact that it is longer and it can sustain more volume?
Yeah, yes, right. So the bulk of the Cool Kid exhausts for Softails tend to be very short.
Yep.
And the aesthetic of the bike kind of drives that. The downside is that bike wants volume. It wants volume of exhaust. So you take a kind of a performance hit just by virtue of the chassis.
Yeah. I think if we could lengthen the primaries somehow and then, figure out how to stifle it into a shorter muffler and maybe still fit the length into that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's just shoving 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag, but it's like, how can we do this and make it look aesthetically pleasing? So that,
I love your analogy.
Luckily, we just did a shorty pipe. Yeah, we just did a shorty pipe. And that's kind of what the trend is right now, obviously, shorty pipes, right?
Yeah, of course.
So we did a as short as you can get for a bagger. We released this in March, as a matter of fact. So it ends right before the axle.
Okay.
So it's not double throw me down shorty, but it's short. It's way shorter than anything we'd ever done.
Right.
And it's also louder than anything we've ever done. And the fun twist is, so we build everything. We build like a compliant version. So it has a catalyst in it. And we use this big old open high flow catalyst. So it doesn't really impair flow on most motors, everything but like a giant bore monster motor. The catalyzed version makes more power.
Okay.
Especially down low. It doesn't really start helping by having an open pipe until you're into borderline race motor status.
Right. I don't know that.
Which is, it's a tell on that bike. The thing it likes the little bit of back pressure. Yeah.
I have definitely noticed that if I do, street glide, road glide with a 475 as compared to, a Softail with a 475, I'm always getting significantly better numbers and usually a much better looking flatline, torque curve than on the Softail. And, that's really, it's hard to explain that to someone that has a Softail that, it's like, they go, well, my buddy did it in his Road King and he got this. And it's like, but you're two different animals. Like your exhaust system is just killing you. And
totally. That's true. Yeah. You're forgetting the bike is 200 pounds less though. So if you start breaking it down to power to weight, your hit is really kind of not. It's inconsequential.
You're right. I would definitely agree.
We have that discussion a lot too. Like you really don't need to make that much more power on a smaller bike. You're already winning just by virtue of the bike.
True.
We want all the power.
Well, we get. Oh, don't do that. Holy hell. Please don't do. Have you guys done that? Have you done that?
No.
Okay. So if you're ridden on like a washboard road.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And just disassembling everything, like your mirror glass falls out and, everything's emptied out of your pockets and taking the balancer out is just like that.
Nice.
Just like that. Forever.
It's the washboard mod.
It's really, that motor is very mad when you do that.
I know a couple years ago that was like a going trend, at least for a brief time. And it was very short-lived because I think most guys didn't realize. And I was during that time, I was actually, Blockhead and I had just recently met and we were tossing that idea around about potentially doing it with his. But, as I learned more and heard more stuff, because I hadn't done it firsthand. But after hearing what I heard, it was like, let's put that idea on the shelf.
Yeah. Aren't the mounts with the M8, like they're not very friendly for it either?
No, they're rigid. No. So it'd be like taking a rigid mount Sportster,
right,
and out of balancing it. It's already beats you up as it is. But if you really twisted them wheels and rode it for a minute, that's pretty much what it would be like.
Great.
You haven't had the pleasure of riding an earlier twin cam that would twist cranks, right? The wheels would scissor or whatever, like the 96s and whatnot.
I've got an Evo chopper that shakes pretty good.
That's true, you do.
Yeah.
But if you've ever ridden one where you try to keep your feet on the footboard and no matter what you do, they're just walking off constantly.
Yes.
and your fingertips are going dead.
Yeah.
Those are the ones.
Like when you're
right there.
you're sitting at a you're sitting at a stoplight and the light won't stop moving because like you're just bouncing with the bike and you have to stand up in order to get the world to stop shaking.
We've seen guys crack the case on the M8. Yeah.
From removing the balancers.
Yep.
Wow.
That motor really wants counterbalancers, and and there's the belief is that there's parasitic draw, by having the counterbalancer. So that's there for fewer moving parts, more power, blah blah blah.
In theory,
and
maybe.
Maybe to a point that is true, but in the reality is that motor really wants the balancer.
Right.
And there is not enough parasitic draw, I think, to justify that disassembling itself.
So for the M8, it's actually kind of cool that you recommend like a stage 2, because that's what we actually recommend to a lot of people. And we've installed like quite a number of stage 2s because it feels like a new bike, after you're done. And
it's the most bang for your buck. We do a lot of we do an entire cam chest kit. So it's pump and plate and cam and push rod tubes. So then you've got a kind of superior oil flow. And at the end of the day, that's what keeps these things alive. So you kind of, like the little insurance policy of motor longevity and a power bump all in one part number. Yep. And we do a disturbing number of those things for exactly that reason. We also do what we call a power package, which is that entire cam chest and a big bore kit. So it's 124 for the 107s and 128 for the 114. And it's a slip-in big bore kit, and that one, most of those ship with like a 550 cam, and they make a hell of a lot lot.
Yeah, we just did that one.
We just delivered one this morning to a customer.
Oh, no kidding! No,
that's awesome. So he has, just to throw him out onto the bus here. He has the 128 power pack with a 550. He went with 5.5 injectors. We did your 55 millimeter manifold. And I think, what else did we? Oh, he has the Vance and Hahn short shots.
Oh, this was a stage 3.
Yeah. Anyways, he landed at 146 and 113. So, the horsepower isn't
pretty damn good.
It is. I was going to say the horsepower isn't overly impressive, but he didn't care. He had so much power and was so totally happy. And I think the horsepower number
where that bike starts, that's really good.
Yeah, it's very good. And you're not looking at the graph, but it's hitting 138 at 2,000. So it's got 138 foot pounds. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
That's great.
That 550 cam is coming on strong. I know that's also one of my favorite cams in the 131. Especially paired with like a D&D. 550,
right. That cam wants a little compression, and it definitely wants cubic inches.
Yeah, we've gotten on one of my guys, I got 160 and 148 out of that with injectors, throttle body manifold, all the a la cartes added on into it.
All the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's impressive power. Yeah. And again, you're looking at, on that one, I want to say at about 2,500, he was just about peaking at 160. So that bike,
that's fantastic.
We have video of guys just roll on wheeling it like it's a CBR or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I bet. Yeah, that's a healthy setup. And the fun twist on that combo, it's stone reliable.
It is very much so.
That bike is not living at the edge of exploding. That thing is just as reliable as when it was new.
Yep. That's those
are good numbers.
That's one of the final combos we're going to do in Blockhead's bike. We're still building for performance, all out top number, not necessarily rideability, but then his actual riding everyday engine will feature the 550 cam.
Yeah, so it's got the 590 now. We've got the heads basically done for the 590, but then we're going to dial it back.
And what motor is in that bike?
The M8.
131.
Yeah, it's 131.
131. Okay, gotcha.
And we're going to use... I'm sorry, we're not pairing it with your exhaust, but we're gonna work with Rusty on this one.
How could you?
Well, we already had a thing with Rusty for this, so we're gonna use a D&D. So Rusty's gonna send us a couple primaries and then all the different slip fit mufflers, so we can figure out what combo is gonna work best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just keep it in. So the collector is really going to be your challenge.
Yes.
So where the two pipes come together is really where you kind of create turbulence.
Correct.
So as long as you've got decent flow in there and a little bit of length to it, it should make good power.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun combo. What do you figure you're going to get out of that?
I have no clue. So we had zippers cut the heads for the 590 cam a year ago, but paired with the 70 millimeter HPI throttle body and manifold, which will be ported. Yeah. I think we're running 6.5 injectors, 6.5s, I believe, or 6.3s. I don't think I'm going to need any bigger. This is going to impair
your mileage, by the way.
Of course.
This is going to be the example where you are not
of course. Honestly, I'd love to see, considering it's a soft tail naturally aspirated, I'd love to be mid to high 160s. I don't see why we can't get there. And that'd be something to hang our hat on, because you don't see many softos running around with that much power.
And then we're going to turbo it. Just kidding.
No, we're not turboing that much.
No, just kidding. Just kidding.
There's just nothing good comes from turboing.
We actually had a guy recently turbo his 131, and it's pretty nuts. But yeah, once again, it goes back to chasing numbers.
Yeah, we just talked to a guy who did it with one of our big motors, and he's well over 200 horsepower. But what happens then? What are you going to do with a 200 horsepower motorcycle on the street?
You go to the moon.
What are you going to ride it down to Starbucks?
Collect some Dogecoin.
Mocha chocolate latte?
It just breaks everything. He broke his rear axle.
Yeah,
shit. What?
I bet.
He just breaks everything. Everything downstream breaks.
I'm going to go like you were saying. It's not made for it. Like none of the rest of the stuff is made for that power.
Harley did not create the parts to handle that power.
Yeah.
Period.
Oh no! It's are you guys seeing the axle adjusters failing yet?
I've seen a couple. Let me take it back. I've seen some in picture. I haven't seen any in person, but I've seen some. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm waiting to see it in person.
That doesn't actually take a whole lot of horsepower to make that happen.
Super.
Another fail point for in addition to third and fourth gear.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, having Baker on speed
third gear. So that's. Like I said, we got Baker on fast dial.
Yeah. So for all of our non-Milwaukee 8 riders out there, because we do have a Sportster actually on the lift that we're doing with 1250
We're
kit?
doing the 1250 hooligan
kit. The 1250 S&S hooligan kit. Yeah.
And then I need to do something with my twin cam. So, we'll have to do something.
What would you recommend in terms of
feature there?
Maybe doing something a little bit more performance for like twin cam and then like Evo, like Sportster, like from y'all's catalog?
With the Sporties, the kit that you're doing, so it's what we call the hooligan kit, which is a big bore, and I think it was a 482 cam. That's for Sporties. That's a great combo.
Yeah, the one we built and gave away, it was great in terms of rideability.
Yeah,
the power was there, but like it was just really. You could cruise with it too.
It was really always on.
Yeah.
And rideable.
That was the one that I rode, and I was like, oh, maybe I do want to do this to my Sportster.
Yeah, maybe I do want to stay short. That's the best way to advertise is put somebody on it.
Yeah, I'm almost positive that's the 482 cams we ship with those.
It sounds right. I can't remember. But
yeah, it's a good all-arounder cam. So it makes plenty of power. We actually ship that one with Tappet because they're the factory Tappets who usually have kind of made friends with the old cams. So we encourage you to do fresh Tappet.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick.
A little bit of. Oh, okay.
Well, no, I just wanted to say, since you're doing this, because this is something that, as you know, we talk to a lot of people every day. You do and we do. People that don't want to do their lifters with cams. They just
hurts ours. It hurts our souls.
Exactly. Thank you. That's all you had to say.
It really does. It really does. They're really not expensive. They're not a huge spend.
No,
I mean, especially if you're putting money into the rest of it already.
Right. So yeah, that's a thing. So if you go, okay, well, what is a lifter, right? So this is a hydraulically actuated thing that moves violently throughout your motorcycle. Not really on a true bearing surface, but on an oil surface.
I call it the shock. I call it the shock in between the valve and the cam.
Right. It has a very difficult life, right?
It does.
And so to expect it to survive forever, I think is optimistic.
Well,
so,
and
they make friends with the cams.
Yes.
So it's essentially it has a wear pattern that matches the cam that it's been riding on its whole life. And when you change the cam, that wear pattern that exists on the tappet is now transferred to your brand new cam, whether it wants it or not, right? So that is the primary reason. But also these things they don't last forever. They're a wearable part.
So it's interesting because another future topic that we were talking about is overlooked expenses to properly upgrade your motorcycle. And that's definitely one of those overlooked. Always. People don't want to change that out. And it's like, no, you should.
But I can get the cam for $200. Yeah. And
that's what I say.
And but I just get the cam. That's all I need. No, you need a bearing. Well, what about the bearing? It's got a bearing. No, you need a new bearing. Yeah, you need
that's another one that hurts us. No, I use my stock bearings. You're all, wow, okay. Let's put your VIN number on our list. Yeah. So when you call back, because it's made metal,
we don't warranty your shit.
No, right? Yeah. It just you hate it. There's a reason we ship all that stuff with your cam, right? So anyway, but so that kind of covers that kit for a sporty is especially if you're starting with an 83.
There you go, Anna.
Really makes great power.
Yep.
And stone reliable. We have beat the crap out of those things. If you go to like a twin cam, kind of depends on what you're riding, how you're riding. I think 510 is kind of one of our favorite cams. So that's for an unported motor. That's a good combo. So I think we do an HP 103 and what we call an MR 103. They're both kind of across the board, good torque, good horsepower cams that don't necessarily need a ton of other mods. So like the HP 103, I think it'll do 100 horsepower out of a 103.
Nice.
Those are good combos. And it's, the same answer goes with the twin cam is that, what's your biggest bang for your buck, outside of doing a pipe and an air cleaner, it's definitely cam. In that case, cam is parallel. So yeah, that's a good combo. I don't know if I'm the guy to ask on Evo. My world is wadded up in Sportsters and M8s.
Have you seen this new Chinese Evo knockoff?
Oh my goodness, the Sportster.
Yeah.
You saw that too,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What was it? Sun Wang something?
Yeah, and that was probably
Sunshine,
only a matter of time.
You just said the most generic shit ever.
No, for real, but that's
Wang.
what it says. It's like Sun Wang.
Yeah.
Sunshine.
You can always tell when patents expire.
Yeah.
Things like that start surfacing. So yeah, we all saw that and we just went, wow. So, and Sportsters are really, really cheap. So I'm not sure anyone was asking for an inexpensive knockoff.
Right. See, that's what I was thinking too.
But you
well, so for content from the YouTube,
let's build an all Amazon Sportster.
Yeah, so we have this frame that we bought that we were going to make a chopper out of a Sportster, right? And so
such a YouTube guy.
Yeah, right. So this is what I'm saying. I'm like, for YouTube. This is what I'm saying. It's like, can we build like an entirely like Amazon or eBay or like Alibaba sport like chopper?
Of course we can, but do we want to?
I can already see the thumbnail. Yeah, don't do that.
The best is we'll build it and then we'll buy the knockoff hooligan kit for it.
Dang. He's like, nah, we still got that trademark, bro. Back up, sucker.
I feel like it's going to have a very short life.
So Chinese plastic cams.
If we break down anywhere, that's also content.
Okay, then.
Like you said, the YouTuber, like whenever I got pulled over, I was sure to get a good thumbnail on the side of the road because I'm like, I'm going to make this ticket pay for itself.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why you're you, right?
Hashtag YouTube life.
I hope you're good at cleaning oil off your dyno.
It's not going to go on my dyno. No, sir.
Oh. Okay. Just lay down plastic sheeting like Dexter.
Yeah, it's just going to break in there. And
you've already thought this through.
And if you decide to ride it, I hope your medical insurance is up to snuff.
I have an elevated dyno, and I don't feel like dismantling it to try to clean it out from the inside. So.
No,
right. So when they scatter on a dyno, we have an engine dyno that is it's a durability dyno.
We should
So
make one.
it runs all the time, and it's behind gigantic bulletproof glass. And every once in a while, we'll break something, and it'll scatter. And it takes 2 days to clean the room.
I bet.
Wow.
Yeah, so we do an obscene amount of durability testing. So, and it's kind of one of the reasons that, like, you can bolt an S&S thing into your bike and it just lives forever. Because we've already done the wet breaks and win process. So one of the things is this durability dyno. And yeah, it's pretty rare, but every once in a while we'll scatter something. And like we just broke an M8 case and it is a mess. It is such a mess. So I highly discourage.
That's super cool. Very insightful into like y'all's, I guess, creating product is that you're testing it, to its limits to see what the weak points are before bringing it to market. Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, we're obviously pushing it what we believe is going to be beyond what anyone else would push it. And that way you have zero failures. If you can make it live beyond what everyone else is doing to it, your failure rate is zero or very, very low. So that's obviously our agenda. We actually have robots that ride motorcycles. Yeah, we have robots that ride motorcycles.
The Terminator?
So
T-1000?
I wish, and they're not even that cool looking, but they are robots. So the CARB forces us to do 15,000 kilometers of durability testing on a catalyst. So it has to survive that and still do its job. So, trying to hire people to ride, and I don't remember what the 9,000 miles, 10,000, whatever that is in miles. Trying to find somebody to go, hey, I need you to sit in this little room and ride this motorcycle for 15,000 kilometers. And it's days and days of riding. And it's a cycle. You don't just hold the throttle. You got to go in and out. You have to shift. And, it's supposed to kind of mirror real world riding. And, after years of doing that kind of stuff, and we used to hire people. And, you'd be like college kids go, hey, get on this motorcycle. And they'd be really excited about it for day one. And day two, they're thinking, I will take my life. Because you were riding nowhere. At 2 a.m. in the dead of winter, kind of like it's not a good time, right? So a bunch of years ago, our dev team, we got a bunch of electronics guys. They're all, no, we got an idea. So they built a robot. And you want to guess what its name is? Come on, give it a shot.
Anybody got an idea?
I already guessed Terminator. So.
Randy.
Nope. It's Miles.
Miles.
Come on, it's Miles.
It's kilometers.
I was going to go with Milo, but no, I'm just...
So now Miles has I don't remember what they named the second one. Miles has a brother now. And these we put bikes on there. And they have giant tanks of fuel.
Oh, wow.
And it refills the tank.
Dude, that should be a mod that you guys sell for the Sportster, like a strap-on fuel tank.
Nobody wants to strap on anything, dude.
Whoa. Kid show. Oh, no, it's not. Never
thinking of another brand.
Backpack fuel tank. My bad. My terminology.
Okay. I don't want to be a company that makes explosives that strap to your body, though. I don't know if that seems like a liability. So
especially while moving down the highway at said speed.
Right. Maybe you guys should work on that. I'm going to stick with motor mods.
It's like the Rocketeer.
Maybe, yeah. So we literally have robots that are bikers. So I wish they were cool looking Terminator robots, but they're literally just arms that control throttles and shifters and stuff. So, but they are robots and they ride motorcycles.
That's super cool.
So,
very insightful.
Yeah, durability is a kind of a core belief of how we develop product. And there's been products where we just went, you know what, it won't live. It's not a product. We're never going to release this.
That'd be interesting to see some of that stuff. Yeah.
Well, we have carcasses where you just go, that did not work, and it goes on the shelf.
Yeah.
And we've seen other companies that release similar products. You're all, oh, guys, hey, that's going to not, and it does exactly what you'd expect. And you're all, that's too bad.
Yeah. Do you guys ever give them like that professional courtessy or let them know?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Right. Well, we don't want to see anybody hurt or,
right.
And, at the end of the day, even though there are competitors, the motorcycle industry is really a grassroots, relatively small industry. I think in the automotive industry, the companies would just go, ha ha, and just let you fail. But in motorcycles, a tiny little industry, and, we all kind of know each other, and we all work together in some level. Like Zippers does a lot of competitive parts for us, but, we also make stuff for Zippers. So, we make stuff for a fair amount of our competitors. So
are you still working with Harley?
No, we haven't worked with Harley in a very, very long time.
I know. This goes back to the 2010s, early teens, when you guys were doing the engine reman program, and I can't remember. You guys were working together for a while. I thought.
Yep, for years.
Yeah,
for years and years.
What happened there?
Until they ended their motor reman program, internally they decided they didn't want to do motor reman anymore.
Probably not.
I think a lot of dealers were very unhappy about that, because that was kind of a go-to for them.
Yeah.
And the deal was, the dealer could do a motor reman, so they, air quote, used your motor. In most cases, we didn't even use your motor. It just had the same VIN. And it was essentially a direct replacement.
Right.
The downside is, if you had a bunch of mods on your motor, you got to stock one back, because that's how Harley wanted it. But they came with a warranty, and it was a really good program. So you could really hurt a motor and get a replacement very inexpensive with a matching VIN. So there's value in that. But Harley decided they didn't want to do it anymore. So that was kind of the end of that. And then we started beating them in race discipline, and they didn't want to talk to us anymore.
Yeah, well, you can't. What is it? You can't bite the hand that feeds, right? Something like that.
We weren't really doing a lot of business together at the time, so there was a big gap between the end of motor reman and the beginning of us beating them. But that's probably a hard conversation right now. Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah.
So on the other side of that, though, we do a lot of work with.
Yeah,
and that's been really a fun relationship, and they're very open. They're not rolling with the kind of ego that Harley runs with. So they're really open to going, hey, let's dream up some stuff and make it real. And when we developed the flat track bike, that was a clean sheet bike. I still have a picture of the dry erase board that we spec'd it on. Their engine designer out of Sweden. Switzerland. Did the bulk of the engine design. We did some of the internals. That has an adjustable flywheel weight, which is really critical for flat track. We do the cams. We do a bunch of stuff inside of that. We build the chassis to literally build, bend, weld, powder coat. Everything happens in our facility.
Nice.
And then the race team lives in our facility. We have an entire room that is just the flat track race team.
Oh wow!
So that's really been a neat experience. In fact, we're now at we beat everybody, and they're changing the rules stage of flat track. So everybody that does really, really well in any given race discipline, you go through like a cycle, which is you beat everybody, and then you beat everybody again, and then the third or fourth year of beating everybody, whatever discipline that is, goes new rules. So we're at the new rules stage. So we have RPM limiters, throttle body reducers. Our wheel weights were banned.
Boy,
I think our total bike weight increased.
Huh.
So, and not shockingly, we're getting beat. So, not a lot, but enough where we were 100% Indian podiums for years, and now it's not as much. So, So we have similar challenges in the King of the Baggers. So the Indian race teams operates out of our building. So we designed and built that motorcycle. The internals are largely Indian's engine. They built a very, very good engine. So that's the Challenger.
Yeah, I haven't had the opportunity to be in one yet. So
it's a solid bike. It's really a solid bike. It's interesting. If you had to say what is the difference between an Indian and a Harley, and the difference is the Harley needs you. Think about that. The Harley needs you.
That's an interesting way to put it.
So the Indian does a really good bike right out of the gate. It doesn't really need you.
It just does its own thing.
It's excited to have you there, but it doesn't need you there. The Harley needs you there. It's barely a motorcycle, so it needs you there. So anyway, that's my personal perspective. I think that does not represent the company. Please don't yell at us later.
No, it's good.
Anyway, so that
I stayed quiet on that one. I just let you do your thing.
I know.
You're holding the shovel, buddy. I'm gonna stand here.
Yeah, I know. I got yelled at before. It won't be the first time. That race team operates out of our building. So, the semi lives there. Everything is developed out of our facility.
Nice.
So that's been a really
fun. Do you ever go down there and hang out, see what they're doing?
Hell yes.
Nice. I would too.
Yes. Yeah, well, just, it's carbon fiber and titanium spread everywhere. It's just so good. It is very good, And when they're on the dyno, like the entire facility rumbles.
Yeah.
And there's just we'll have whole meetings where the meeting stops. The meeting stops. And everyone just listens. They're all, oh yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. It's similar here. Isn't
it's
it?
all good and well until you're on a phone call.
Yeah, but you guys know, you guys have probably heard it enough now that you should know the beginning parts, and then when it's better.
Oh yeah, I've been listening to it for years.
Final polls.
I can tell when it's he's about done. The bike's running real nice. You can hear it.
Yep, or it does that really hard stop.
Yeah.
And it just go, oh, that was bad. And you got to go check on your dyno operator, make sure he's okay.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, anytime we hear that, we all go, oh, is Chad all right? Hope he's okay.
So I got to put a camera in the dyno room so we can
funny.
check
Nobody
on you
gives a shit if I stop it hard. They just, nobody shows up. I could be in there falling over.
That's so good.
We get a live feed for you.
That is definitely no good. Yeah, I don't know if I want the live feed, but I don't know if I want to interfere with the magic that those guys are doing.
Right, that's
but anytime you hear that hard thunk stop where something stopped rotating unexpectedly.
Yep.
Yeah, you want to check on that guy, make sure he's okay, emotionally and physically.
Make sure there's no shrapnel in his shins.
That too, and that he's not really bummed, So. Anyway.
Oh, they know. I come out of that room, slamming the door, throwing headphones. God damn.
Yep.
Yeah, it happens, right?
We should do some dyno live feeds.
Yeah.
As Christine.
Oh, I don't know if you want
Give me a really shitty combo with a crappy short pipe. You'll hear a lot of stuff, not just motorcycle stuff.
That's going to be a lot of editing later.
That's definitely got to be this is an explicit feed.
Yes, right. You're going to have some warnings. Yeah, YouTube's not going to like that.
Ooh, OnlyFans for dyno feeds.
Right.
Oh, there you go. Oh, now we're talking.
Only dynos.
That might be genius. Americans would actually just watch that just because they could relate.
Yeah. It's all really explicit material lives there.
Totally. The end of the day, a dyno is a development tool, and the development process, sometimes is not pretty.
Thank you, David, for saying this on podcast, so it's not just coming from me. Help people in the world understand that the dyno isn't we just roll it in there and make some noise and roll it out. It doesn't work that way.
It does not work that way. No, it is a tool. It is a process.
It takes time sometimes.
Yeah. So, and sometimes stuff makes crunchy sounds, and
unfortunately,
you have to start over.
Stay away from the crunchy sounds.
Yeah, it happens. So, anyways, all right. So, and then we're gonna cheat something. Before I go here, we're gonna leak something to you guys.
Ooh, what you got?
Nice.
Whoa.
So, I don't know when this podcast comes out, but we
don't know either.
We don't know either. Yeah, I think we do our podcast very similarly. Maybe at some point in the future, it may not be.
Next week.
You wait. As soon as you've got a decent, loyal kind of fan base, they will start yelling at you. You'll see. Yeah, like they're disappointed in you. Oh, what happened, man? I noticed you didn't do a podcast this week.
Dude, we did the first one, and everybody's like, "When's the next one?"
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, "Yo, we don't have a schedule.
After
we just do it whenever we do it."
Started. Yeah. Where's the next one?
Just gonna get the more you do, that's just gonna get worse. So just so you know.
Not a bad thing.
Anyway, we have a new M8 big bore kit, a flip-in kit.
Oh,
what's that? I think I know what it is, but I don't want to say it. Oh, it's your business.
Yeah, well, don't blow it. Because I'm not actually going to say. I'm just going to say we have it.
Oh.
So that launches probably later this month.
Oh,
okay. Nice.
All right.
And is bigger than the biggest that's currently available.
Yeah.
Through who?
Through the Everyone.
Through Leading Edge.
Well, that's not a flip-in kit.
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a bolt-on.
Okay.
So it would be,
So it'd be larger than 131.
For example, it'd be like the 110 was for the twin cam.
Right.
That was the biggest bolt-on without cutting case.
Exactly. It's like you've done this before.
So you've got 30 years. I got 25 going on 26 in August. So yeah, I mean.
Oh, no shit.
That's awesome. So we've both been doing this for a hot minute.
Yeah, I forgot to introduce Chris as our 25-year master level technician. My bad.
I love it. That's the kind of guy you want build motors for you.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of.
The guy who's seen stuff.
Seen some things.
And maybe has some emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
All of a sudden, I'm feeling attacked. What are y'all doing?
He was getting lifted up and then just.
But he uses it in a good way. Right?
Yeah, but it can be I can get wadded up real fast.
Double-edged sword.
Yeah. Because
anyway, so we'll look for that kit here later this month.
Nice.
It is straight bolt-in. It makes really fun horsepower.
And we've got like 3 on order, right? You've got 3 on order for us already?
Maybe.
Cool.
Dude, I guarantee we'll be able to sell them. No problem.
I'm sure you will.
We're going to drop one in Goldzilla.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
So the distributors, our distributors, so Le Mans or Drag and Tucker, they see stuff before dealers see it. So they see it before you see it.
So we can log on to Drag and check it out.
We shared it with them a while back, and we were still in development. We said, hey, this is down the road, but here's what we're doing. And the order that they said, here's a placeholder order. Well, I don't know if we can make that many of them.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Okay, but all right. So, but that kind of stuff, anything M8 does really, really well.
Yeah.
So, I think they more than recognize that as well. So it should be a fun kit. So look for that later in the month. That's definitely going to be a game changer for M8.
Ooh.
Well, we're looking forward to installing it and throwing it on the dyno and seeing what it does.
I want one.
Oh, it's very good. It's very, very good. So, and then we have another one. We have a stroker crank. So we have a 4 5/8 crank for the M8.
Oh, do you have another one coming up, or is that it?
Well, no, that one's already out there.
Right.
But we're developing a new top end for it.
Ooh.
So like double throw me down monster combination. So as soon as we get that one, right now we're not stoked on the reliability of it. So we'll when it's combined with giant bore cylinders, when it's the 4 5/8 with a 4 1/4 inch, so it's the 128 combo.
Yep.
So it makes it 131. That combo is stone reliable, but once you get bigger than that, we're still fighting some stuff. So we'll get there. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this real quick. Not if you can't say it, then you can't say it. But the new biggest drop in. Do you know what the compression ratio is going to be on that?
Probably 11-1.
11-1 using stock heads.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We kind of
the gears are turning in his head already.
Yeah, the majority of the guys use stock heads, so we kind of bias towards that.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
The M8 head, as is really good.
It is.
We try not to compliment Harley too much because we don't want them to get a big head, but that thing flows really, really well. We put together a porting program for the factory head. Yep. With the agenda being to beat the Scream Eagle head, which really is just a ported factory head.
But it's a good head.
It's really good. It's really freaking good. Yeah. Yep. So we see most of the guys run the factory heads, and for good reason. It's a good setup.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you can get into porting, or you can get into the Scream Eagle head, spend a couple grand, and you don't gain a lot.
Yeah.
Because the factory stuff is really solid.
Well, we're looking forward to checking that out whenever it drops. We'll have to get this podcast out so we can kind of hype the listeners.
Right.
But
we'll send one your way, have you put it on a bike and do some dyno testing on it, and even more fun would be to actually go ride it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Always. That sounds awesome. So in terms of timeline, I think we're going to have to cut it here soon. But before we do let you go, is there anything else you'd like to throw in regarding yourself or S&S to let our listeners know about?
No, I think we covered it all pretty well. We covered some stuff we probably should never even cover. So
that's the way this podcast seems to be working out so far.
Not perfectly close.
Yeah.
See how fired any of us may end up down the road here. You guys, we love working with you. We started working with Block before you were even a cool kid.
Oh,
we've always kind of been fans of what you're doing. So, love the opportunity.
One of the first conversations I had with you, I think I reached out to you guys a while back, and y'all were one of the companies that vetted the hell out of me. And I mean, I wasn't worried because my channel's like very family friendly, but I remember sitting over my lunch break at my previous job before I quit my job, talking to you on the phone for like an hour, like while I'm sitting there, like, trying to eat, but also talk to you, and we're like going back and forth about engines and stuff. So yeah, we've been in collaboration for a while.
Careful. Yeah, we're pretty careful about that kind of stuff. We're not a company that just blows parts to every guy who's got a YouTube channel. We're not chasing gigantic, dyno numbers. We build stuff that makes good power and lasts. And if you're that, especially when it comes to the YouTube stuff, it's you get a lot of really sensational. Oh my God, I tried this part and it made 10 less horsepower than this other guy's thing. You're all, well, at that point, that's 3% difference. Did it really matter? And I'm going to say our stuff lasts for a very long time. So we're not a company that gets involved in that kind of nonsense.
Right.
So we are pretty careful.
Yeah.
We're weirdly careful with women influencers as well.
Yeah. Anna.
That goes a weird direction. That goes a weird direction. So the best way to get likes and follows is not necessarily to talk about motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
This is funny. I've had this same conversation.
We've had this conversation so many times.
Well, I've had this conversation with Harley-Davidson as well. Yeah. And like, it's the same way, it's like they're very like not into the exploitation game. I mean, we aren't either.
Right. And for us, that's not a very good story. It's not what we're about. So we vet the hell out of anybody that we work with. And, and I would like to think that the influencers vet the hell out of us as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, I do. Like, and looking at
we're good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're absolutely good with that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that kind of covers it. We talked about a ton of fun stuff. We definitely have some more fun stuff coming. I don't know when this is going to come out, but we have Laguna King of Baggers coming up. That one is a must watch. That was the origin of that race series. And there is nothing crazier than watching the baggers come into those corners.
Legit.
It is just amazing to watch.
We need to go out and watch one day.
Yeah.
Be there.
I highly encourage it. It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
These are legit race bikes. Their lap times are really respectable. And they're fast as hell. They sound amazing. Yeah, it's one of those things like you're all, that cannot be good, right? And then you go and watch it and you're all, holy hell, I cannot get enough of this.
Yeah, it's very visceral.
So yeah, it is. It's amazing. And these are 600-pound motorcycles.
Yeah.
And to see them dive into a corner, handlebar to handlebar it is really cool. It is, you can poo-poo the fact that they're baggers all day long, but at the end of the day, they're race bikes that happen to have bags on them.
So I got the opportunity to go out with Harley when they were doing the ST press stuff for the Street Glide and Road Glide. And we went out to a racetrack, Indy out in Arizona. I think it was Arizona. Yep. And Kyle Wyman basically taught us to race around that track. And his new race bike was basically being built. And seeing him on that thing going around that track, it's like, you think you know how to ride until you watch one of these guys ride or try to ride behind them. And they're riding one-handed, trying to tell you how to take this next turn with their other hand. And you're like, fuck you, bro. Like, I'm going to die. I'm going to crash and die. And you're over here twirling your hand around and stuff. It's very humbling.
Kyle is ridiculously fast. and smooth. And, all of those guys are unbelievable.
It's an art watching them, honestly.
Yeah, at the end of the day, these are pro racers. They just happen to be on bigger bikes for this series.
Yeah.
But those guys are so fast. I'm jealous of the ST. That is right now probably one of my favorite motorcycles. Is the Softail.
Me too.
Did you know we're giving one away?
I heard some rumors.
Yeah.
I heard some rumors.
Season 8.
Am I allowed to win? Is that an option?
You don't work for Blockhead Moto or Blockhead
Media. You don't work for us, you're not my girlfriend.
Point.
So.
You gotta.
All right. Okay.
Where does he sign up?
Where does he sign up?
Blockheadmoto.com.
Blockheadmoto.com.
All right. I'm in. Yeah. That's like check.
Maybe we can throw this big bore kit in it that you guys are talking about. We'll see.
Hey, now.
Oh, yeah.
You probably could.
He's talking like this, so it's going to happen.
It could be very interesting. Yeah, oh my God, that bike would be nutty with a big bore in it. Yeah, that thing checks out so many boxes for me. I love the styling. I love everything about it. The kind of contemporary version of that fairing is really good.
Yeah.
Hard bags. Like, it's just, oh man. Nardo gray. it is very cool. So yeah, I really like that bike.
It's a very well balanced bike. I like that it's like a kind of an in between, not quite touring, but a little step up from Softail. And the redone like suspension on it really changed up the feel of it a lot. I think they nailed it.
I totally agree. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. Yeah, Harley's done some neat stuff lately, so you can't really knock them.
No.
So they're currently beating us in the King of the Baggers, so I want to knock them. But that and the Pan America, they're neat bikes. They've really done some neat stuff. So
on a Pan America note, for the Revolution Max, are you guys looking into any performance stuff for the Rev Max line?
Can I take the fifth?
Sure.
Is that a thing? Am I allowed to do that?
We know what that means.
What?
But yeah, it's the answer of we're not allowed to talk about any future plans of product, blah, 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 that I get from industry people all the time.
Just go ahead, insert boilerplate. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it. What may or may not happen.
That's a neat motor. That's a really neat motor. We're looking forward to getting one of the Nightsters.
It's a fast motor.
I don't know if I'm not madly in love with the Sportster S. So I don't know if I understand who the customer is who buys that bike.
It would be the one that wanted the V-Rod, Night Rod.
Or the FXDR.
Yes.
Low and lean.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Or even the rocker.
I forgot about that bike.
Remember the rocker customers?
The rocker.
Yeah, let's not forget that thing. The Deuce whatever mashup. What is this thing?
The Harley wants to forget the most.
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look this one up.
You don't know really?
No.
You don't know what a rocker was? A rocker C?
Well, I gotta look.
It was just a chrome version, but
yeah. But make sure you see the video on how to deploy the rear seat.
Yeah, I'll have to show him.
That's the best part. Yeah, that's the best.
The seat folds in and of itself like a transformer. I'll have to show you.
Okay. It does, yeah. Whether you wanted it to or not.
Transformers. Harley-Davidson.
Sometimes it would do it while riding, unfortunately.
No, I don't know that. Come on.
Oh.
I think it was safe. It was just not very attractive.
No, it was hideous.
I did not say that. You did, okay?
I did, yes. And I have no issues. I will not take it back. It was hideous.
That was a bold fashion choice in an era of bold fashion choices of motorcycles. So I'm glad we're past the wide wheel Softail era of motorcycles. That's all I got.
It was like ladies wearing those shoulder pad,
dresses.
The late 80s.
Like that?
Yeah. Anything with shoulder pads, really.
I don't think it was that good.
Yeah. Worse than that.
It was worse.
All right, I have to go do real work.
All right.
Thank you guys. I love the opportunity to talk to you. It's always a very good time. Let's talk about that pipe for your sporty.
Yes.
And as soon as I've got
and my Instagram is very clean. Thank you.
You don't have to vet Anna. She good.
You'll be vetted. We have a team. You'll be vetted.
The vet team.
So there's check marks and the whole deal.
At Captain
and then we'll make sure we send over one of the bigger big bores and have you guys do some dyno torture testing on it, and that should make some fun numbers.
You want to let people know where they can look up, find S&S, links, URLs,
Absolutely.
Instagrams?
We are S&S Cycle everything. So whether that's a .com or a Facebook or an Instagram or YouTube, we are S&S Cycle. That's it. No ampersand. Ampersand is not a friend of the internet, so we had to delete that for all of our channels. But everything is S&S Cycle.
What does it stand for? I never even thought to ask that.
Street strip. I thought.
What is S&S? It's actually Smith & Smith. It's a family-owned company.
Oh, okay.
It's a husband and wife.
That's cool.
We're actually in the third generation of the family.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Family-owned third generation.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they come by every once in a while. They're not too terribly involved in the company anymore, but they'll cruise by. The second generation are really funny. They have great stories.
Nice.
So they'll cruise by and tell us stuff like, you're all, damn, that is so cool. And then bring us photos. And, we do crazy throwback Thursdays and stuff like that because they've got so much content.
Dang, that is really cool.
It's actually, it's really fun. It's actually a privately held family company, which is kind of a neat twist.
Love it. Awesome. Yeah.
Anyway, so the S&S Cycle, and that's where you can find all of our nonsense.
Super cool. You guys be sure to check it out. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you, man.
You got it, man. Talk to you soon.
All right. See you, David.
All right, David. Thanks.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Thank you to David. Man, that was like super insightful.
Awesome.
Like very, like incredibly, he was incredibly knowledgeable. I learned a lot of stuff. And then like his recommendations, like, despite being with S&S, like, and saying, hey, if you're going for like a budget build, what would you recommend? And him saying like a stage 2, I think that's super commendable.
Same thing.
And not being like,
when you ask.
Yeah. It's not like get a stage 4, like, 160 horsepower. That's awesome. And it's funny because it's the same thing we say. It's like if somebody's looking for, more power, but to keep that rideability, like we say stage 2 all day, because the M8s, they perform, I think, so well with just the cam change.
They do.
So yeah, big thanks to David at S&S. You guys be sure to go check them out. He said they got a podcast. So if you guys are looking for another moto podcast to listen to add to your list, sscycle.com. Scroll to the bottom, I think you said. Mm-hmm. I'll definitely be checking it out.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I had no idea they were like a private family-owned company, like still in the family. That's super cool.
I thought for years it meant street and strip.
Speed and strength, or like there's a lot.
I've heard so many different things.
That's the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
I've never heard
there's another
Smith
one out there.
Smith
It's like steel and something.
Speed and steel.
Street and steel.
Street and steel,
Street
I
and
think.
steel.
Yeah, it's like the Cycle gear brand stuff.
Right.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, not to be confused with any of those. Damn, so Anna's getting a pipe? Like a performance pipe?
Shit.
And we're getting some unknown stage 4 apparently.
I'm curious because I went on their website while we were on the call.
I'll give you that number later and we'll see if that's the one that comes out.
Yeah. Speculation.
I went on the website while we were on the call to see like what it was, and it's not on there.
No.
So I'm curious.
Damn, Daniel.
The exhaust for the Sportster?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Huh. That's exciting.
He said it was new.
The stage 4,
yeah.
I think he said
their new biggest stage 4 wasn't on there either?
I didn't look for that.
So I was looking at the Sportster stuff.
You know what's going to happen is you're going to put the whatever the pipe is. You're going to be like, oh, that's a nice increase in power. Now let's do the 1250 hooligan.
Right.
I was gonna say put me on the schedule.
Yeah.
No, I have seriously been considering doing the 1250 kit. Just because from that time that I rode the giveaway bike.
Yeah, that we all like exchanged the bikes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It was so smooth, and it doesn't, I don't know. Yours was very angry to ride.
Yeah.
But the 1250 kit was just so smooth. I feel like I could enjoy myself.
Yeah, that's
riding.
what I'm saying. It's like you can use it for just cruising and it's cool, but like if you want to get on throttle, it's there. Right. Whereas the 1275 Hammer, it's just like, I mean, I guess there's a reason it's named the Fuck You Sportster.
It's mad.
I want to ride it. I still haven't got to ride that.
Good luck.
I remember watching the video when I was editing the videos of you guys all trading off. Yeah.
No.
It was pretty crazy.
No. Unfortunately. We got a couple things that we need to do to it to like get it even more up to snuff, but it'll get there. It'll go up on the list along with all the other like hundreds of projects.
I also need to raise the idle to 2,000.
What was it?
I tried it so many different times to get it to idle at 1,000. And we read online a couple different places that or a couple different guys that supposedly built them that said they ride them every day. I ride them every day. It's my everyday rider. Bullshit.
No.
Bullshit. There's no fucking way.
If that is, then
it won't idle at 1,000. It just won't. It drops the map pressure off the map, which basically cuts it out.
Right.
I mean, their map pressure swings 15% or 15 points. It's a huge thing. So at about 15, it levels out, and you can kind of get it steady there. But the little bit higher you make it, the smoother it gets. So
it was on that Sportster when we were doing the video that you were like, okay, when we stop at a light, just keep it.
Yeah, you
just like rev it a little bit.
You guys like either stalling it or like, you guys were like revving it.
Yeah, Laurel's like, shit.
And the worst part is sometimes it'll idle. Just depends.
Yeah, it's a toss-up.
Sometimes
it's a toss-up.
Sometimes
a gamble.
So, what are we at, Justin, time-wise? What are we looking at?
1:52 or an hour 52.
Damn. How do we always do this?
But it was so good, though.
We had like a couple.
episode.
Yeah, there was like two or three more topics that I had that I'm going to have to move to podcast number 4. So this being podcast 3.
Remember what I said before we started? And I said,
we're not getting
I have
through
a
any of it.
suggestion.
Yeah. I guess we just get
some of it.
He read off the list. He was like, okay, so I said, so what is the topic for today's podcast? And he's like, okay, we have a few items on the list.
It was 4.
And so he read off the items, and I said, okay, can I make a suggestion? We just stick to one of those topics.
Right. Wow. But so we talked about chasing numbers, overpowering bikes.
Try to get Bertini on the phone just to
we'll get him on next time around as like a follow. He's on vacation right now.
I think he would be a good candidate for when we talk about when you're doing performance parts, like what other parts coincide with that.
Yeah.
I think he would be a good candidate for that, given that he's built out his 131 and now a turbo, and it's not like he just bought a turbo kit.
Yeah.
I can tell you guys and them for firsthand, and I think you can speak it too, Blockhead, but I've built numerous motors for myself that were totally stupid. And in the end, I'm not riding them to work. I'm not riding them down the street to go hang out with people now because all my shit's stock.
Right.
You notice every one of my bikes is stock.
Right.
You notice I've left the MT-09 totally alone. There's no performance mods on it.
I put cams in, but I mean, I leave it stock.
Performance
right.
And the reason I've done this now is, for one, I don't want to spend all that money, but for two, I've built everything that I wanted to build, at least up to that point in my life. And every time I do, it's no longer fun to ride. It is fun because, light to light is fun, but it's not practical. Like, I'm not going to go cruise to wherever with you guys. And I'm not going to sit in a 35 zone and stay in the pack because I got to be in second gear whining it out to do 35 smoothly. So you guys are just motoring and I'm over here, just waiting so we can actually shift so I can move. You know what I mean?
So it's actually interesting.
But he understands this.
Yeah.
Because his bike is the same. Goldzilla's very
It
similar.
sucks to having a low RPMs. Yeah.
Even before you did all this stuff to it, like shortly after the 131, I remember you saying very clearly, you're like, I don't know. I'm thinking about getting another bike because it's hard right now.
Yeah. I mean, it'll cruise, but it's just like one of those things. It's like it always wants you. It's like it's like hanging fruit. It's like, come on, bitch. Just take it a little further back on the throttle.
50? Let's do 70.
Right?
No, it's like, 50? Let's do 140.
That's ridiculous.
In the same gear.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Just wind me out a little bit. Now we're smooth.
So,
but David was right. Not to cut you off. David was right though. 4,000 and up, his bike is happy. But 35 and down,
which is crazy to think. Normally, the governor or the RPM limiter is 55.
Yours is 7
now.
Yeah.
But stock was what, 55.6?
52.
Yeah.
52.
It's happy above 4,000 RPM. So I only have 1,200 RPM to go. So we had to raise it up a little bit. So I think it's funny, like just to quickly touch on that, but then we got to close out, obviously. A lot of people say with like, whenever I put out the videos that is like stage 4, 131, whatever performance, a lot of people say like, it should come like this from the factory. No. And like my response is like, no, it should not, because like you are not making a motorcycle for everybody at that point. You are making a motorcycle for a very small group of people.
Right.
Harley-Davidson is great at making a bike that is good for like everybody, like a broad range, And if you want to go and like, modify it to the point where it's going to be something crazy. Like that's good. You can unlock the power, right? And Harley's good about doing that. But should it come with the 131 stock, like instead of like a 114 or 117, and should it come with like a 475 or a 550 or a 590 cam? Like hell no, because most people don't want that.
Right.
It's not rideable. It takes away the rideability.
Real quick, most people don't use it. Even after I tune, there are some guys that we end up dialing back, or I dial in the throttle progressivity and put it back on because it's too aggressive for them. Right. And they don't like it. So, yeah, sometimes you can build a monster and then you have to detune it so that Joe can go ride it like a regular person.
It's no fun to ride it.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I think it's fun, but you know, that's me. Again, I'm in the smaller minority.
All right, guys. Well, that's podcast number 3. Thank you all for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. If you guys are interested in seeing the video, I don't know where you guys are listening to this through, but we're available on like
all your favorite platforms.
Yeah, iTunes, Amazon, Google, Spotify, all that good stuff. But if you guys want to watch and actually see the video of it, of us just chilling here in the podcast room, I need to get a sign for that whole red area right there.
All right.
Yeah, you guys can check us out, youtube.com/blockheadmoto. Once again, we are giving away a couple motorcycles. So if you guys want to sign up to win those, it helps us out greatly to be able to continue to grow the business, keep the lights on, pay the salaries, modify the bikes, all that good stuff. You guys can enter blockheadmoto.com. Next giveaway, season 8, we're giving away the 22 Harley-Davidson Lowrider ST.
I still say no.
Chris doesn't want to give it away.
I want that too.
Yeah, everybody wants to keep
fight
it.
for it.
How do you think I feel?
We should just do that.
I bought the damn thing and I'm like,
Just keep it. Let's give away something different. We all voted.
What about Goldzilla? You guys don't want to give away? I mean, that'd feel wrong, right?
Yeah, we can't give that away.
My personal way.
Give it away now.
We'll find something.
Give it away.
We'll find something.
I want to give something awesome to the community.
We
that's
got a really
brought
cool club and twin cam Dyna we could give away. I'm just saying.
Or we could have an ST that people we know people love that thing. So.
You know, I don't care what people love.
Well, I do, and I guess
I don't.
Okay.
We're giving away the ST.
All right, we're past 2 hours now at this point.
Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, do us a favor. Hit the like, hit subscribe, hit the bell. If you guys are listening to this,
I think it's free, right?
Podcast platform. Leave a rating. Leave a comment in the rating if you can. All that good stuff. Yes, hitting subscribe is free.
Don't we say click that bitch? Is that what it?
If you guys aren't on the YouTube channel, subscribing is free. So hit the subscribe.
Click that bitch.
And click that bitch.
Yeah, I don't think I have to censor those this one, right?
We're an explicit podcast apparently.
Right.
Yes.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Whatever. All the other podcasts are explicit.
You down with the sickness, bro?
Oh, you might have to put an explicit warning at the beginning of the video then for podcasts.
Explicit.
Explicit.
Expletive.
Stop my wrist and black my eyes.
No, the other way.
And this is how we go over our time all the time when we record our podcast.
Oh my goodness.
Wait,
Bye.
Right?